What are some players that we need to keep an eye on during Auburn spring practice? The Tigers have already hit the field. They're on and rolling here. Who do we need to keep track of? I don't think it's a secret. The quarterback situation, you want to call it a battle or not, there's a quarterback situation right now in Auburn, Alabama. There's a lot of people, myself included, who think that Auburn is going to go into the transfer portal post-spring to go in at the very least, add depth, at best, add somebody who could compete for that starting quarterback job. Robbie Ashford completed less than 50% of his passes a season ago. I understand he wasn't 100%, but still, that's not going to cut it. TJ Finley's in that room. People around that program don't believe he will be there post-spring. If that happens or not, we'll see. But someone that I don't think is getting nearly talked about enough is Holden Garner. Was a four-star out of high school, ideal size, 6'3", 210 pounds. And one reason why I could be sold on Holden Garner, even though we haven't really seen him play just yet, is the fact that the offensive line is going to be improved from a season ago. Because that was one of the reasons why you probably leaned towards a Robbie Ashford. For what he wasn't able to do throwing the football, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He was also really effective running the football. Ran for 7 touchdowns, got out of trouble, was able to be sort of the eraser to what you didn't do well on the offensive line. You went into the portal and got yourself some pieces on the O-line. So what does that tell you? You may not have the same need for a dual threat quarterback that you did a season ago. How does that factor in with Holden Garner? How does he look during these scrimmages as we get more and more into spring football? Heck, in the spring game, does he put on a show? Does he make a statement that, hey, I'm going to be a factor in this quarterback race. You got to deal with me. Holden Garner comes out of high school, like I said, with a lot of juice. And regardless of how you feel about him right now within your program, I understand there's recency bias, and he hasn't really factored into the battle quite as much as a Robbie Ashford and a TJ Finley did a season ago. There was a lot of people that wanted Holden Garner on their football team. You can tell the value of something in a lot of ways by who else wanted that. Who else wanted Holden Garner? Georgia wanted Holden Garner. Tennessee wanted Holden Garner. Michigan. Like, you go down the list here, a lot of elite programs that had a lot to play for in the coming years. Schools with coaches that are not super along in their time at that school, meaning they got to hit on a quarterback. They got to be able to make sure they got the guy pulling the trigger for them. They wanted Holden Garner on their football team. LSU, one of those programs. So you see what I'm saying? Holden Garner, by process of evaluating who else wanted him on their team, we can assume, also based on the grade that he got across different different services in the industry, 4-star player, we can assume he can spin the rock. I think he's a dark horse in this quarterback derby. So how does he look in the spring? How does he factor into the reps? Remains to be seen. But I think we need to make sure we keep a close eye on him throughout Auburn spring practice. If you haven't yet subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel, we'd love to have you at the party. We do content every single day about this beautiful game, college football. We are live twice a week. We are live tomorrow morning, Thursday, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. Make sure you're locked in. Come get in the live chat. We'll have a good time there. Camden Brown, wide receiver, about 6'3", 200 pounds. We better keep an eye on him too. Because there's so much conversation around this offense, and do they have a playmaker on the outside? They went to the portal. Camden Brown, I'm telling you, this time last year, or rather a year ago when they were going into fall camp, Camden Brown was a guy they were very excited about. Big body, good athlete, played at St. Thomas Aquinas, a really established high school program in the state of Florida. So there wasn't a huge jump for him in terms of maybe what some of his other classmates had to do from the high school to collegiate level. Dude can play ball now. All right, last fall, I've told the story before, but I'll tell it again. Auburn has 2 rookie practices before they get into fall camp. So if you're a newcomer, more than likely if you're a freshman on campus, you are going to get a couple practices to get acclimated, get the training wheels going, and be able to sort of ease your way into what a college football fall camp is like. 2 practices. Camden Brown participated in 1. The staff said, we're good. We've seen enough. Camden, you're with the vets, brother. So I'm not saying that he's going to be wide receiver 1 for you, but how he progresses in his second year now with a full spring ball under him, that should be exciting for Auburn fans. Physically, he's got all the tools. And the knock on him, or the note on him, rather, is, hey, Camden Brown, a lot of physical ability, still really raw as a route runner. The good news for Auburn fans, Philip Montgomery, from what he's done at Baylor, They don't ask these wide receivers to be enormously technical with their route running. It is, can you run? Can you catch? Yes, okay, let's go get it. And it may not look the same at Auburn as it did at Baylor, but I'm just telling you, there's not going to be an entire route tree required of these guys based on, like I said, that offense at Baylor. It's, hey, go make plays for us. And Camden Brown, they like what he's got physically. How does he progress? Does he end up syncing up with some of these quarterbacks? Does he make plays in the scrimmages? Does he make plays in competitive situations, contested catches? Had a good year last year. I think this could be a year for him to take that next step and at least be in the running for that wide receiver one role. So Camden Brown, another guy to keep an eye on. Then finally, it's no secret that Auburn went to work in the portal. Hugh did his thing. That was one of the things we talked about, was he's going to recruit the SEC well. We knew he'd recruit the high school level well, and I think ROI is still to be determined on that. You feel good about it if you're an Auburn fan. But what they did in the portal was phenomenal. One guy that we got to really track, defensive tackle from Kentucky, Justin Rogers, 6'3", 332 pounds. That dude is a big human being in the middle of your defense. And what wins in the SEC? Physicality. Can our big human beings match up with your big human beings? That's the story of football across the board right now at the collegiate level, even more so in the SEC. That gets exposed quick, fast, in a hurry if you don't have that. And Justin Rogers, out of high school, a four-star guy. Dude can play some ball, has a lot of physical tools. How does he factor in for Auburn this spring? Because the defensive line for Auburn last year wasn't awesome. Gave up right around 182 yards a game rushing. Can't do that. Can't do that and expect to be successful week in and week out in the Southeastern Conference. So Justin Rogers, is he able to be the bell cow? Is he able to center and be the anchor of that defensive line? Because if you can at least hold the line on defense, if you can just be up to par and not be below average, you're going to give your defense a chance. Okay? I firmly believe that. So I think they've got a big chess piece in Justin Rogers, both metaphorically and physically. I'm excited to see what he brings to the table because there's need for help there. And again, track the reps, track the intel over there at Auburn Live, the Auburn On 3 site. Justin Hokanson and company doing a phenomenal job. Will keep you in the know like nobody else in the industry. Track Justin Rogers and what they're saying about him. What are coaches saying about the way that he works in the individuals? What are they saying about the way that he meshes? That's going to tell us a lot about the progress, okay? So Holden, Garner, Camden Brown, Justin Rogers, three guys that we need to keep an eye on as Auburn gets rolling here with spring football. But I promise you, this will not be the last time we talk about the Tigers. This will not be the last time we talk about the intel we're hearing around spring practice for them. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're locked in. This is your show for all things college football every single day. Like I said, come hang out with us tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. Nick, break, lifting heavy. This is your show. All right, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep the party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.